7 million Australians holiday in the Sunshine State each year, and it's a fair bet that most of them check out the windows of real estate agents and possibly entertain the prospect of buying a holiday home.
So is an investment made in a holiday mode a bad idea? Well, senior buyer's agent with Hot Property, Zoran Solano, tells us how to avoid the tourist traps and pick a winner in the Queensland market. Zoran, great to see you with us. We love having you on the show and sharing your knowledge. Does the Queensland property market really benefit from the holiday makers that we send up your way?
Yeah, definitely, guys. I think the Queensland market is seasonal to a lot of respects. That spring buying season where we see a lot of interstate guys start to make their way up, it is something we see does influence our market. And for those coastal markets like the Gold and Sunshine Coasts, real estate agents are absolutely flat out Friday, Saturday, Sundays, open for inspections. It just doesn't stop during that time, especially for properties that suit that kind of holiday lifestyle. And you're exactly right. When they're on holidays, people are walking past real estate agency windows, having a look, and sometimes making impulse buys along the way.
So is it, obviously, I think I know the answer to this question before I ask it, but is an impulse buy a very good idea when you're on holiday?
Oh, look, I don't think so. Especially the buyer's agent in me goes, no, don't. Do your research, do your homework. I start to freak out a little bit there when someone does it. But look, they do that. And for sellers, it can be quite an opportunistic time to have your property on the market and to be working with an agent that's conscientious through those times, to be able to take people through at the drop of a hat. So I would say that buyers really need to understand the local market. Queensland law is different to New South Wales and Victorian property law. The transaction process is different. The lingo we use is different. You really need to have the right team around you that know that local market in order to help you.
So tell us some of those things that are different in the Queensland market that interstate buyers sort of might not be aware of.
Yeah, so look, as I mentioned, the Queensland law is different. So real estate law is state by state governed. So the process of buying property here can be different. You really need to get a good local solicitor involved that knows the Queensland law process to assist you. Also the right team when it comes to property management, buyers agents, and also building and pest as well. But look, there's a lot of different reasons why. Some people look to Queensland to avoid land tax issues within their own areas, those sort of things. So we're seeing people move to Queensland and buy out of state for a number of different reasons.
Now, are there some traps to avoid in particular when you're looking to buy in Queensland?
Yeah, definitely. You need to make sure you do your research. One of the biggest things we see interstate buyers when you're looking in Queensland, they do note termites. Coincidentally, we're a subtropical climate here. Termites can be a big problem, but it's one thing that's often on buyers' lips. Flooding, which we've discussed previously on the show, is another thing that a lot of interstate buyers need to be cautious of when buying here in Queensland due to our tropical climate and storm activity and those sort of things. So those are some of the items that definitely need to be further considered. And it's also one of the things I see a lot of Sydney and Melbourne buyers prefer to orientate towards brick homes because of their thought process that timber attracts termites, when it's actually an old wives' tale. You know, timber homes are just as likely as brick homes, sorry, vice versa. Brick homes are just as likely to have termite issues and so on, and their own issues as well. So buyers really need to understand the demographics and property style in the location that they are purchasing.
Another point you've got on the list, Zoran, that we've got up on the screen is the property upkeep on a Queenslander. Now, those beautiful details that I love when we get Queenslanders here, and you're part of the world, the beautiful fretwork, the timber, the posts, all of that timber detailing obviously requires painting. And that's another thing, the upkeep of the properties to keep them looking that good, and also to maintain the value of your property is another consideration that people perhaps don't think of, particularly if they come from a brick home.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Look, I think if you're diligent and you're a diligent property owner, especially if you are interstate investing, it's then crucial to have the right property manager monitoring the property to make sure that preventative maintenance is undertaken on a routine basis. But look, sometimes it's probably blown a little bit out of proportion. My dad hasn't painted his house in 40 years. He's probably due to. But
sorry, Dad.
you know, so yeah, sorry, Dad.